in favor of entering executive session to discuss personnel matters and contracts, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll enter into executive. All right, good evening. It is 6 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here. We will call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I need a motion to set the agenda as presented. Okay, just a second. Mr. Kramer's got a revision to the agenda.
We would be eliminating on page 4 under new business, letter C, consider approval of proposed revision to district administrator contracts. This would be language that we need to consult with our attorney on, that he did not have an opportunity to grab the information that was needed, and so we will not be approving that language this evening.
So just to be clear, we're still going to be approving or discussing administrator and director contracts, just not the proposed revision to the contracts. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented with the amendment? So moved. Is there a second? Any further discussion or questions? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is set. We will first start off with our presentation by Compass Academy students on Cotant's Totes of Hope. Thank you guys for being here.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Kramer, and community members. I am Cheryl Trimble, the educator at Compass Academy, which is the district transition program for 18 to 21-year-olds. I also have my team here, Mrs. Kimberg, Ms. Buchanan, Ms. Record. They are all job coaches for the program, which means that they go to employment sites with all students. Every single student here is on an employment site, so that's their job, is to go with the students and support them. But we are here tonight to speak to you about a service that is provided by Compass Academy. So on February 24th, I had the opportunity to participate in the Wyoming Against Hunger Day at the state capitol. First Lady Jenny Gordon thought it was imperative to get all the programs across the state that are fighting food insecurity in front of legislators. While I had the opportunity to speak to our local representatives, it was pointed out to me that perhaps school board members and community members may not be aware of the impact of our backpack program. So I'd like to provide some information before the students have an opportunity to speak. And after hearing the students, I hope you walk away tonight knowing that the students own this service project and they are invested in it. Last year, First Lady Jenny Gordon came to tour Cotant's Totes of Hope and invited us to be a part of Wyoming Hunger Initiative. This opportunity allowed me to apply for a grant, which allowed me to purchase a commercial refrigerator with the intent of elevating the nutritious value of the food that went in the backpacks.
Our community service project is to help fight food insecurity in our community. We know that going hunger has lasting negative impact on children. Hunger affects 1 in 5 children in Wyoming.
Laura has an example to show what items are typically included in these weekly backpacks. Protein, which might be chicken, tuna, or peanut butter. Fresh produce, cereal, milk, beef sticks, and snacks.
This partnership with Wyoming Hunger Initiative provides the backpack program with 40 cases of beef sticks each semester, with the beef being donated by Torrington Livestock and the processing being provided by 307 Meat Company in Laramie. I then coordinate with local community members to get our beef sticks from Laramie to us here in Torrington. Cotant's Totes of Hope is not funded by the school district. Each year, we are provided a grant through the Wyoming Food Bank where we purchase the majority of our food. We also have an account with Cisco where we can purchase items that may not be available through the food bank. We are blessed to live in a community where the citizens want to take care of their own. We've received a $10,000 grant from the Community Health Care Foundation because they are aware that hungry children have a hard time focusing and learning at school. We've received $5,000 from the Rotary Club, investing in our local children. We've received a significant donation from Kendra Knudsen's office, St. Joseph's Children's Homes, All Saints Episcopal Church, Torrington Livestock Market, the Wyoming Hunger Initiative, First Wyoming United Presbyterian Church, Pinnacle Bank, and many, many private individuals.
We receive food donations from individuals in the hospital, Pinnacle Bank, Lincoln Elementary, Platte Valley Dentistry have all done food drives for the program.
Definitely showcased throughout this program. Without this community coming alongside us, Cotant's Totes of Hope may not exist. In fact, 2 years ago, we thought that may be the case. So we developed an advisory committee made up of school personnel and community members to oversee the future of the program due to financial constraints at that time, with the goal of ensuring the longevity of the program.
I'm Monica Kramer. We have partnership with our local grocery stores. They both collect food donations that we pick up weekly and include in the backpacks. Main Street Market also collects financial donations that allowed us to purchase fresh produce for the backpacks. This is a win-win situation, keeping our money in the community.
A backpack. If a family thinks that they could benefit from receiving extra food, they simply sign up. We currently pack 356 backpacks on a weekly basis. We're packing for 20% of our student population. We also have opened it up to other community facilities. So 2 years ago, we had Torrington Learning Center contact me and said, hey, a sibling is getting these bags and the family wants to know if they can get these as well. So after conversing with Mr. Kramer, we thought that would be a great idea. So we now provide to Torrington Learning Center, Lincoln Infant Toddler Center, and Valley Christian School. We provide,
I am Haven Torres. We provide food to families to reduce stress so they don't have to worry about where food for their kids over the weekend will come from. During the government shutdown, we packed double in the bags to ensure that kids had food.
We receive a food order from the food bank once a month. They drop the food, pallets of food outside the school. We use dollies to get the food into our storage area, which we invite you to check out at any time. James.
My name is Edward J. Haas. On Tuesday afternoon, we bring the food from the storage area into the classroom to prepare to pack bags on Wednesday morning.
introduce yourself. This is Sage Johansson. Wednesday mornings, we set up the tables and put the food on them so we can run an assembly line process. Okay.
My name is Joe Hudson. Each of us have jobs when we pack the backpacks.
On the board so we can.
I'm the organizer. I keep the team on track and inform them of what schools we are packing for. I get the shopping carts ready to put the backpacks in and get the shopping carts ready to put in the backpacks in and put the school labels on them and load it into the Suburbans, deliver it to the schools. I remind the team to pick up the weekly donations at the grocery store, and I organize the food in the storage area.
I'm Cutter Billinger Smith. I prepare our bags for packing by double bagging them so they are ready to go.
I'm the stalker. I keep our supplies loaded so we can continue with our assembly line process.
You go, you do it. You need to do
Okay.
it. Yep, you're good.
I help pack all bags.
Job. All right. Go for it.
I also help pack the backpacks.
Wednesday mornings we set up tables and put the food on them so we can run an assembly line process.
She only has the two.
Oh, we got more coming here. You ready?
I help pack the backpacks to ensure all students get food. I deliver the backpacks to the schools.
I am the DJ. Turn it up. I provide upbeat music to keep everyone moving while we are packing the backpacks.
I am the quality control inspector and make sure all bags have what they need and make sure all tied properly before we load them to the in Suburbans for delivery. I help peers and ensures that we pack the correct amount for each school. I help deliver the bags to the school.
Thank you for letting us tell you about Coten's Totes of Hope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Hey, good job. Good job. Good job, Sage. Good job.
Thank
Good job.
you.
Good job. Thank you, James. Good job.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job, Annika. Good job. Good job, Zoe. Good job.
That was incredible. I'm glad we could learn a little bit about Cotan's Toads for Hopes and more about the Compass School. So that was awesome. Next is going to be committee reports. We'll start off with DAC. Anyone from DAC want to give a report?
You're good.
Okay, that we meeting was going on official pay. See, middle school basketball, volleyball, wrestling, softball, soccer, track. So going through all the different ones, looking at, because like everything about cost. So we're looking is going to be for our officials and everything. For the sportsman summit, that is going to be a month. Looking at getting some community. Over high school wrestling. Kind of tight issues. I'm sure we're not spreading and so thin and all the. So you have a coach to that new equipment and some stuff. About sportsmanship of I'm watching teams that are out there maybe and overdoing it to win the game. You know? Ship and that which is in the team, somebody that it's not maybe up to baseball there.
How does that generally work? Does DAC then make a recommendation to the coaches to not run up scores? I'm
So,
assuming that's what it's
no,
referring
it was actually, it was a kind of a subcategory off the sportsmanship summit, and Mr. Van Tilburg has graciously volunteered me to have a speaking engagement at the sportsmanship summit, just to talk about some of those things related to the challenges that our coaches face on both sides of that, because we all players, coaches, parents have been on both sides of that. And that's the biggest challenge is what do you do as a coach? What's our philosophy as a district in relation to that? What are some options to go through? You have the entire dynamics because when you reach that varsity level, there's a lot of different intricacies around it that aren't just simply, oh, we're going to do this. to make this happen, because you have a lot of other aspects that are coming up where deals with your rankings have some pieces, your players have some desires on where they are looking to for what their records are. It's not a simple, easy answer, but it could certainly be something that we further discuss.
Anything else from DAC? Okay, great, thank you. The next is Recreation Board. Either of you guys want to give a report? You want me to do it? We had $279,680 this year to divvy out through the rec board. We had 22 applications. I thought the meeting went really well. I always really enjoy this meeting. It feels like we really focus on community and how many individuals are being serviced as opposed to like more school-centered things. So I felt really good about the decisions that were made and the way that the monies were allocated. I'm assuming, is this spreadsheet made public at all? If not, I can read it. I just was trying to avoid having to read it.
This spreadsheet, the information as to the individual awardees.
Okay.
Receive the information from Wade Brew and the process to go ahead and reimburse the funds. But as far as who's actually awarded, it's part of our packet, so it's going to become part of.
Okay, perfect.
Part of the agenda.
So it's on the district
on the
website. Yep, it's on the district website. But other than that, I thought it was a great meeting. Do you guys have anything to add?
Yeah, it was a good meeting. Everything went pretty smooth. It wasn't super long. And I mean, we had more than enough money to go around at the end of it. So worked out good.
Yeah, no, I'd kind of agree. I think we had a little bit, 30-some thousand or something less than last year. And I think next year is projected to be a little bit less than this year, possibly because of taxes. But like I said, there's lots of programs that we help support, and honestly, without this support, there's quite a few like summer programs for kids, especially a couple sports programs that they would basically cease to exist or really struggle to try to find funding if we didn't have this. So it's good to spread it out and help it.
Yeah, very appreciative to Wade Brew and Kyle Neiswanger. They do a nice job as well. So it was a good meeting. This is kind of up to the rest of the board, but some board members have not had an opportunity to meet with their buildings yet. Is there a desire to move forward, or should we move that to the next month? Does anybody have a strong feeling one way or the other? It was kind of a tough month, I think, with state basketball and just all that was going on. So you guys okay if we bump it to next month, or do you want to do it?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, you mean as far as reports for those of us that did, or?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that maybe it might be difficult to get through everybody in one. It might take a long time. So maybe if those of us who did could present tonight and then, follow up with the others next month.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Who wants to start?
Maybe Tony, because he should.
Okay.
Yeah. And the expectations, you guys, are just 1 to 2 minutes, nothing huge or elaborate, just to kind of give us an idea of what's going on in each building.
Well, so I met with Mr. Florshinger over at Trail. We had a wonderful conversation. I really appreciate that either he has ADD or he knows how to deal with somebody that has ADD, because we really talked about a lot of, we chased a lot of squirrels.
A combination of
them. But just some quick bullet points of some stuff that he shared with me that were interesting, like data going through how risk verification has helped make some necessary changes to instruction. One of the challenges about motivating students to learn. So nothing has changed since I was in school then. That still remains a challenge. I was glad to know that actually they've had a great deal of success with their cell phone policy, and it's working really well. and that the students are engaging with each other instead of spending all their time looking at a screen. So I was really glad to hear about that. And then just some of the ins and outs of turning our students into leaders and good humans. What I hope comes out, or I guess what I hope, I don't know how much structure you have figured out with this yet, but I hope this is not a one and done as far as meeting with the individual principals and individual trustees. I hope whatever amount of time it is, maybe 6 months worth, or I don't know if a year would be necessary, but certainly I'd like to visit with them at least a few more times and really nail down some of these things. So thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to go? Trustee Steinbach?
I can go. I kind of put it off till the last minute, not on purpose, but because I had Southeast and Mr. Williams was busy. And so we were able to meet this morning, which was really nice. I was greeted by the welcome committee again, the elementary students, which I find to be I just feel it's incredible, because at that point when I was that age, I could not have done that. And I just think this is the leadership and they're so articulate. The work that they're doing is amazing to me. So I've always been impressed with their confidence and their leadership. So they took me on a short little tour, which obviously I've been to Southeast plenty of times. I coached there. But then I went back and was able to meet with Mr. Williams, and I think we met for about an hour. And we had a really productive conversation. We talked about the ways that the board can continue to support the students in the schools. Also, we had a short conversation about the funding model and maybe some ideas of how we can address that, even though there are still so many unknowns. It's good to hear from the principals. I think the building administrators, so that we can get a different perspective as board members. I think that's really important. So I appreciate that we were able to have this one-on-one conversation. We also talked briefly about just maybe looking at ways that we can not only motivate students, but hold them accountable and make sure that we are doing everything we can in the district to prepare them for the next level, whether that be go into their careers or go into the next level of education. I think that Mr. Williams for sure is really passionate about making sure that every student that leaves his building is more than prepared. And so I thought that was a good conversation, and he has some good ideas and of things that we can do. And so I hope to bring that back to the board as we, maybe have that discussion further. And then, of course, I don't want to leave out any of the other schools, because I know that Lingle also made it to state. I unfortunately don't know how they did, but I do want to say the Southeast girls basketball team came home with a state championship. So
three-peat.
Congratulations to them.
Three-peat, just so you know.
A three-peat, yes. And I know the boys did well too. The boys ended up in the consolation championship game, and unfortunately fell on the short side of that, but that is a major win just to make it to state. So all of the teams in the county should be very proud of their accomplishments this season. And I know Torrington is going this week. So right, that's it.
Thank you. Who's next?
Madam Chair,
Trustee Sharp, she was faster.
I was able to meet with Mr. Principal Van Tilburg yesterday. I left it till almost the last minute.
Boy, we got some procrastinators in this group.
Yeah. But I had a wonderful visit. We spent about an hour together, and I was able to see everything from classroom participation time to his I believe he called it his tutoring hour. Not hour. I mean, I'm going to use words here that he didn't use, but opportunities for students to come in and get some tutoring help from other students, which I think is wonderful. And I really thought that was a great great opportunity. I found that the school is very organized, very, which I love. Mr. Van Tilburg has, I believe, a very good handle on things, and he's a great asset to the program. And I love the Wyoming Blazers Being Good program that he's instituted, where the students are being recognized for doing the right things. I mean, we don't get told enough sometimes that we're doing the right things. We get told that we're doing the wrong things. And I know, just be it in business, that for every time you get told you're wrong, you need to be told you're right twice, because we cannot beat up on people. So I feel like this is a great program. But on the other hand, as much as that is a great thing, the school is very much on the accountability programs and discipline. There are 2 bulletin boards throughout the school that actually are titled "Be a Blazer, Be Respectful, Lead by Example, Act Responsibly, Zero Excuses, Engage Positively, Resolve Problems." And the beginning of each one of those words spells blazer. Very innovative. Thank you. And it is some of these, he provides examples. Some of those are provided in the hallways, in the restrooms, in the commons rooms. So they're there and they're reminders. And they're not just posted. He uses those to reinforce with the staff, to reinforce with the students on a regular basis. So it's not just something the students are posted and say, oh yeah, you need to remember. No, it's reinforced throughout the school year, which I found really neat. There is also a wonderful Blazer bulletin that goes out every Sunday evening, that goes out to the staff, talking about things to concentrate on during the week, what's coming up, whether it's sports events, testing, things to focus on, which is really encouraging. And I mean, everything from fun things to things that we need to step up on a little. Great interaction, I believe. And then there is a great staff meeting that goes on. And there are some really, I won't go into all the details, but there are data points provided, action teams. One of the things I really loved at the beginning of the couple of classes that I got to go to was a bell ringer program. And I'm not sure that I'm going to understand it completely, but it's taking time. It says here, with the person next to you, take 30 seconds and discuss the top 3 things that must absolutely get done as the school year approaches its ending. But each one of the classes starts with a bell ringer. It starts with a little bit of that, plus an agenda of what's going to go on in that class time. So the students are fully aware of what's going to take place in the next 40-some minutes. And they're able to gear towards that and understand what we're going to accomplish. And I just find that setting people up to win, I just see that as a win-win for the staff and the students. And so I know there's a lot of things I missed and I didn't talk about that we went over, but these are some of the beginnings that I really came across and really did appreciate what was going on there. So I know that I believe there's a culture change going on there. A change that, as you said earlier, Madam Chair, it's nice to have a principal for the second year in place. We get some continuity, and that is much appreciated. And I believe the students are responding to that. The students that I know personally are responding and do appreciate what's happening.
Great.
And I believe, from what I understand, that the parents are being supportive as well. So I really appreciate it. And I look forward to, I mimic Trustee Goulart's, that I would like the opportunity to be able to go back for at least a few more months.
Great.
And learn more, because I have slaughtered what he gave me. But there was so much to take in. But thank you. Appreciated the time.
Thank you, Trustee Sharp. Trustee Alexander?
Okay, well, mine is similar to Trustee Sharp, except I was at the other end of the spectrum. I was with Lana Swingholm, And so I was at the Lincoln School with kindergarten and up. And so I was greeted by a young lady named Oakley in the kindergarten. And her job was, part of her job at the school is to greet and do tours. And so I got a very extensive tour quickly. Lots of energy. Anyway, so we went to all kinds of classrooms and the different wings of the school and everything. And she explained to me all the different rooms and what classes were going on. What's interesting is they also have action teams there. And all of the students in the school, they get to pick by interest. It's basically, she explained it like a job fair. You show up and you go through everything and you pick out what interests you that you want to do. And of course, Oakley's was to give tours and guides and take people around. They have anything from, well, they have 3 different groups, 3 different action teams. They have leadership, culture, and academic. And there's 7 teachers approximately per action team. And leadership, there's 7 different action teams there. Culture, there's 11. Academic, there's 7. And there's usually 8 to 9 students at each one of those. So they do anything from getting on the microphone in the morning and doing Pledge of Allegiance and making announcements and everything to, well, like I said, they go out and do the flag. I believe they're working on folding the flags and learning how to do that. We even discussed the kids that are doing the announcements and everything. I suggested, and I'm going to make a plug for you to do it, is that we get those kids and actually take them to the radio station and let them see what it's really like to do it live. And things like that, get a little hands-on some of these groups that they have. They have a group that takes pictures, photography, and made these brochure up for their school district or for the school, the Lincoln School. We just discussed everything that's, these kids are setting goals in these teams, and they have to keep records, and they have graphs around the walls of whether it's attendance or whatever that's going on in the school. And there's certain kids that are responsible for making sure that those are up to date all the time of what's happening. And so a lot of hands-on. They do have one main teacher that they're with, but they get to go around and work with some other teachers as well. So it's nice to get a little variety instead of just being in one group. So anyway, we also discussed, we was wondering if it's going to be just one time or if we get to go back to that school and get more into depth and see more of what they do. So we would like to do that as well.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Trustee Hager?
I can go. So I had Torrington Middle School. I couldn't make it in my schedule to go meet with Mr. Barker, but we spoke on the phone a little bit. So that was good. And there's Normal Middle School. There's a lot of, like every school, lots going on, but one kind of new program that they're excited about is called Strive. Kind of reading between the lines, I think it's kind of maybe similar to like Laser Time at the high school-ish. They have 2 30-minute blocks in the day. One's intervention, so like students need it for math or reading. They go to that. Another one is an enrichment period for the 7th and 8th graders. And they can, it's mainly focused on like either PE, art, or social studies. Big part of it that they are excited about was kind of centered around the PE aspect of it. Basically, they take like 40 kids per block and kind of set up athletic type stations. And then so it's super organized. So they like track each kid's, so like a whatever station they're in, like 5-10-5 shuttle. It's just a timed start in the middle, run 5 yards, go back 10 yards, come and then back through the middle. So they time it and then they keep track of the kids' records. So each time the kids go through it, they know what their previous times were. And it's just, Mr. Barker said the kids really take it serious and really find it fun and entertaining, and just the whole aspect of, the competition and then striving to do a little bit better each time through the stations. And big thing, it just keeps them active and wears them out. Middle schoolers have gobs of energy, and they do it in the morning a little bit and just seem like it's just a positive throughout their day because of it.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you. I think out of the interest of time, if we can postpone till next month to complete ours, is that okay? And we'll finish everybody up. I do agree with this sentiment. I had PRS and I felt like I just barely, got a taste, right, of what they're doing there. So I would agree with this sentiment that we try to do it at least for a couple of months in a row, if that works. Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. Next is public comment. I don't have any yellow slips, so I'm assuming that there is no public comment. So with that, we will move on to superintendent's report.
Just bringing up my report. And so I'll enlarge it there. Primarily looking at the color coordination, you'll see that this month compared to the previous month, which is on the right side, compared to the previous year, the color coordination, yellow if there was a slight decline, green if it was the same or within 0.75 of a student. So you can see as I scroll down this last month, ADM wise, there was an increase from the previous month at the large majority, almost all of the buildings. And as the district, we were slightly increased and from the previous school year, a negative just under 10 from the previous February at that time. My next item that I will discuss, it relates to the recalibration and actually more so the legislative bills. The first bill that I want to talk about, I want to share this. It's just my notes, but at least you kind of get a idea of which one I'm discussing. Is 157 House bill. This bill actually did not move forward. So it was not heard on the committee of the whole on the Senate side. This bill, and I'm going to kind of go through this, what we noticed a lot was, especially this year, there's a lot of legislation that either is coming from out of state or has titles that are make it very difficult for our legislators to proactively vote against, because what we'll probably see in the months to come before August are your legislator voted against protection of parental rights. The headline of that sounds terrible. The reality of that is House Bill 157 was one of those bills that related to the ability for those opposed to different things within the school to go directly to court without working through any policy or practice at the building level or district level. And so this was one that was opening a door for significant litigation involving parents and schools. And so this was not necessarily about parental rights, but more about a lot more litigation and the liability of such. So it's very appreciative on the side where some of these bills, House Bill 157, did not get heard on the Senate side. The unfortunate thing is I don't think we're done with this type of politics, in that we will most likely see this next year. And so it's very important to be informed. As I sent an update to our staff today relating to some of these bills, really go in and read the bill, really understand it, and feel free, as I found, that our legislators are very responsive. Ask those questions. If you see a no or yes vote, I would encourage you to ask why you voted no specifically, or why you voted for this bill. They have a lot of bills that they covered, but it's really, really important and impacts us as a school district significantly to know that impact that they have. And so notating which education bills and what side of the decision that each legislator came out on is very important. Also, House Bill 159 was very similar in that it was not heard in the committee of the whole, and this related to student free speech protections. The challenge with this one is that there was still, and always is still, the ability of free speech to be heard within the school district, that this dealt with some other pieces that more or less dealt with specific litigation and going directly to federal court, and a minimum award of $5,000 to individuals and if they were found to have violated student free speech protections. This was pretty expansive, and even the language within the bill opened up individual teachers to possible litigation. And so there was some significant concerns related to House Bill 159 as it made its way over to the Senate. And again, it would be one I'm concerned that this may come up, but it will be important for everyone to educate themselves on the true language and the true implications of what some of those bills and how they might impact some of the things that we do within the school system and how they impact our individual teachers. The final one that was not heard out of committee of the whole that related to education was House Bill 127. And this bill actually correlates really well to our conversation earlier in regards to recreation levies. Each year, the board approves rec levies. The board has the ability to end the rec levies on that vote each year by a majority vote. This bill really related to one school district in the state in which that was not utilizing the recreation levy, and they added that. And I don't know a lot of the implications related to that, but there was some consternation from individuals who were part of the legislature and involved in that levy being added in that county. And so as an answer to that one county issue, it became a state issue where this was the bill proposed that the recreation levy would be added to the general election ballot every 4 years. One of the pieces that really was kind of driven home by Trustee Hager was when you look up and down this list of awards for the recreation dollars that came out, as he stated, without those dollars, those programs don't exist in our county. We don't see a lot of funds. I kind of tongue-in-cheek provided a suggestion to one of our legislators that it become a statewide levy and all the money go into the pot and then be reallocated on an individual population basis, which I think for Goshen County would mean a significant increase, and I would be fully supportive of that. I don't know that Campbell County and Converse County would be as supportive, since that is how they fund their recreation facilities. And that's how they have such impressive facilities around the state, is specifically due to that levy. Ours generates just under 300,000 and meets the needs of a lot of different programs. As you kind of saw, the wide range of awards, all the way from the walking path to Crooked Arrows, Bent Barrels and Crooked Arrows program, to our different townships and towns, and our different sports programs, and a golf course and pool being funded through that. The problem with putting them on a general election, it becomes very political. And what we've heard from our legislatures, Wyoming's an easy target. We're cheap. We're cheap really to get anything passed because of our small population. Sending out mailers to everybody across the state is pretty affordable to drive certain initiatives home, which makes it not necessarily advantageous for all Wyoming individuals or our community, but maybe very advantageous to a national agenda. And so that's why I personally have some concerns relating to putting it on a general election ballot. I think one thing that is very indicative is how many public comments have we had against the recreation levy, as this is a yearly piece that the board members should hear about and regularly hear about if there's significant concerns with this levy. I can say in the 7 years that I've served the district in this role, we have not had one public comment related to removal of the recreation levy. We have had a board member vote against, and that was certainly understandable and related to what they felt after their research of that levy, which I have no problem with. But I think boards know, as they fulfill the requirement to serve on recreation boards to award that they are very well educated in relation to those dollars and how they are utilized. The other piece that would be a suggestion, if it becomes an interim topic, is why just to focus on the rec levy? There are all sorts of other additional levies that we have that are board approved in our community, either through our county commissioners, our colleges. If we truly are concerned about levies being dictated by individual boards, then why not focus on every levy? Why not put every single levy on the general tally? If that is the case, what it seemed to be is specifically around a concern in one county related to the recreation levy, not a state concern. And so that's one that is something that you definitely want to take note of and be educated on as we approach the next year. The next bill that I was going to talk about is SEA 56. Sorry, I skipped over one. Senate File 59. This does have an SEA number, but I don't have it down. This is the K through 12 literacy bill. This was passed and was signed by the governor. The concern is not necessarily with the language that I have in this bill, as we have been, because of our initiatives that we have been in place over the last 4 years, are in a very good situation to meet the requirements of this literacy bill. The concerns that I have are related to the very broad definitions and open-endedness to the state superintendent and how this will be implemented. There also is some question as who the professional development will be centered around, as some interpretations of the professional development would be requiring literacy professional development for all employees, which would include our custodians, which include bus drivers and things. And there are some important pieces that should be broad-faced around literacy, but this is one of those situations in which an unfunded mandate. This will cost dollars to implement, but there was no funding accompanied with it. And so I have always grave concerns as legislatures work through and continue to add to that basket of goods, but then are very hesitant to follow that with funding. And this is an example that I think all the story behind it, the reasons for really focus on K through 12 literacy are very important, but where does the funding and this extra requirement on school districts, how do we fund those? Especially, as I'm going to talk about in SEA 56, the recalibration bill, when it's gotten even tighter with what our local boards are able to do with those dollars coming in to school districts. The concerns that I have with the recalibration bill that was allowed to pass the governor without his signature is the instructional silo. So in the instructional silo, there are positions that relate to specifically classroom instruction, where we have gotten a block grant really for the over 20 years as a school district to have our local boards dictate how those dollars are appropriately spent related to their specific school district. Now, a large portion of those funds will go in what is called an instructional silo. Things that are outside of this instructional silo that also need to be funded are things like student nutrition, SRO coverage, technology, custodial maintenance, and activities, which are certainly, as we look on that list, are not extras. In addition to that, there's also a number of positions that are not are specifically excluded from that instructional silo that are really important to the operation of school districts. We're going to hear a lot more about the instructional silo and what it entails. Marcy has already gotten to work on what that model will look like. There's a lot of unknowns even with this recalibration bill moving through, that there's a lot of question marks on what it will specifically look like for Goshen County. We do know that there will be changes. There will be things that we will have to adapt to. There will be some positives with the instructional silo, as it did invest a significant amount of funds to classroom expenses. The concerns are that outside of that silo, how do we operate all the other pieces outside of that? Activities funding is another piece that will feel additional pressure under the structure as we work to sustain our extracurricular opportunities across the district. Currently, we're estimating and projecting that there could be in excess of $500,000 over spending what we're being funded on what our expenditures are on extracurricular activities. And so this is something that we'll have to take really close notice of. Health insurance. This is one where you probably have heard the term ghost employees. The health insurance resources are provided across all positions. And I guess should ask Marcy to make sure our interpretation has been correct, that this implementation of that will be the second year of this, or will it be the first year in regards to the funding for that?
That's one of the unknowns that we don't have answered.
So that's about a $1.2 million question, honestly. If it's funded within that first year, as we have first interpreted, that would be $1.2 million that are in question. If the idea, or if the proposal or interpretation is that that starts immediately, where the funding for the all modeled FTEs are not funded, that would be a reduction of $1.2 million to our budget, which could have a significant impact, as we've seen across the United States in regards to insurance costs. And if you've had your health insurance adjusted, you'll notice that in most cases, double-digit percentage increases have been very commonplace, and something we would probably anticipate with our insurance provider would be double-digit increases. That again is something that goes into salary relations and has a significant impact on what we do as a school district in relation to what we're able to offer on a base salary. The last piece where there is some concerns and significant changes are moving from the 3-year average to a 2-year average funding. The 3-year average certainly allowed us to have a gradual decrease. The proposal was for just 1 year. So it is appreciated that it was moved to 2 years, because I think it does allow us to absorb some of the enrollment adjustments. I think 3-year is preferable because it does take away some of the peaks and valleys a little bit more. But that is and will impact us moving to a 2-year average, and will impact, I believe, at least 90% of the school districts in the state, or even more, in a negative way.
Most of them.
Yeah, I think there may only be 1 or 2 districts in the state that have had increasing enrollment. And so this will be an impact financially for many school districts across the state. The piece that I have looked at and want to caution is there will be a lot of publicity around this was such an increase, this was such an increase. When you compare it to the previous model without ECAs, yes. The ECA of last year was very beneficial for the school district. And the model, I believe, was not previously broken had it been followed up with appropriate ECAs. And there were some significant changes that are advantageous also on some ECAs being at least reviewed on a yearly basis, because initially it was proposed only to look at ECAs every 2 years. And so there are some things that are very good for school districts. There are some awfully big question marks that still remain for us in relation to the recalibration bill. If anyone would have any questions related to recalibration or any of the other House bills, I'd be glad to answer any of those.
Okay, thank you. Next is old business. Consider approval of proposed revisions to District Policy 4142. This is on the second and final reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the proposed revisions to district policy as presented on second and final reading, including renaming to payroll deductions and renumbering to 4321, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull anything off of the consent agenda? With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is new business, to consider acceptance of certified staff resignation. This is the resignation submitted by elementary title intervention teacher Susan Keller to be effective at the end of the 25-26 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of accepting the certified staff resignation as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is consider approval of offering a teaching contract for the 26-27 school year. This is to Kenneth K.C. Henry as a science teacher at LFL High School. May I have a motion? Is there a second? Any discussion? This is just like the others. It's pending certification, just so everybody got that. Okay. All right, all those in favor of approving the offer of a teaching contract to Mr. Henry, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider approval of offering administrators and director contracts for the 26-27 school year as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? And Mr. Kramer, just for discussion purposes, or if you would, I don't see Holly. Oh, Holly's hiding in the back. I didn't know who you wanted to address, kind of like what we're doing here.
Yeah, what I can do is this. So we will be approving the administrator and director contracts. If there are any changes from our legal counsel, we would bring those back up after the following salary and benefits proposal. But I don't anticipate any changes with anything specifically related to outside of that line. And that was related to changes that we've made through the teacher contracts for the updates for salary and benefits proposals. And so that's what that would be affecting.
So the intent is to approve the contracts, the existing contract, with the intent to revise with that one provision, just for consistency.
Correct.
Did we get it right, Holly? Okay. Any questions or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of offering the administrator director contracts for the 26-27 school year as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider approval of contracting for bleacher repair and servicing per district policy 3420. This is for Bleachers at Southeast Lingle, TMS, THS in the amount of $10,000 and also replacing the roller drives on the bleachers in the TMS gym in the amount of $3,040 for a total amount of $13,040. May I have a motion? Thank you. Is there a second? Any discussion? Pretty clear cut. And all of those in favor of approving the contract for bleacher repair and servicing per district policy 3420, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider approval of contracting for residential student placement services. This is approving the contract with HeartSpring to provide residential and educational services for student number 3811 from March 30, 2026 through June 30 of 2026, not to exceed $123,884. I will remind the board that this comes from general fund and is reimbursable through special education. May I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one quick question, Madam Chair.
Sure.
Without being specific, just because of the amount of money we're talking about, can we give the folks an impression of the level of care that comes with this price tag?
It's very significant, especially due to the placement being out of state. And so the level of need is pretty high and a very specific need, 24-hour care.
Good question. Any further discussion?
Did that answer enough, Trustee Goulart? Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
This is a piece with recalibration. This is actually a positive in that out of district placement will be reimbursed back to districts. They went back and forth as to whether it would be a monthly or quarterly, as opposed to having to wait till the end of the year. So we would see this next year much sooner.
Glass half full. I like it.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the contract for residential student placement services for student number 3811, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider approval of an amendment to the current contract with Access to Learning Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services LLC. This is an amendment to the current contract, the 25-26 contract, with an additional amount of $4,500 for increased student service needs, resulting in an amended contract amount not to exceed $26,500, and it is also reimbursable special education. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion or questions?
I just, can you provide a little bit more information as to why we're amending it now? What is it? Are we having to provide more services or?
More services and hours were requested for services. One of the other questions that I received and I appreciated from Trustee Sharp was related to travel and the cost there. And so you'll notice in the contract the up to amount. Primarily, there are some in-person visits. There also are a number of virtual visits. So it doesn't involve as much travel. But I do appreciate trustees taking a look at the specifics in that language and catching and asking any questions that you may have, because it's quite easy for any of us to miss them also.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the amendment to the current contract with Access to Learning Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services LLC, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next will be board topics for discussion. Does anyone have a topic that they'd like to discuss?
Madam
Trustee
Chair,
Steinbach.
I wanted to just give a shout out to the middle school. I went to the play, and I think the middle school teamed up with Lingle LFL middle school, I think. But it was really good, really good. And in looking at all of the recalibration stuff that's going on, I know that these types of things will be could be negatively impacted. And so I just really hope that we can, as a district, figure out how to continue to allow these types of activities because I mean, those kids did amazing and they have some amazing voices in middle school already. I mean, I was impressed. And so I would like to give a shout out to the teachers and to the principals who worked so hard with those kids, and they did a great job. So I just want to give that little shout out.
Thank you. Any other topics to discuss?
Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Dixon?
I was just wondering, since we kind of have agreed that we can go back to the schools and go a little deeper again, since we've already been there, if we can still continue to do that in this next month as well.
What's the preference of the board?
Yes.
I'm seeing shakes of the head, Trustee Alexander. So I think for at least one more month, and then
Okay.
we can
If it's
reassess.
okay with the principals as well.
They love it. Except for mine. She might push back a little bit, but it's fine. Any other topics? Board members, I apologize for lengthening a meeting, which we were hoping to get out quickly, and hopefully we can, but I do need to address a topic with this board. How many of you have had your school account email forwarded to your personal account? Okay. It was an option that Mike gave us, and part of it was because I forget to check my school account and I didn't want to miss anything, so I did have that forwarded to my account. Unfortunately or fortunate, I had it forwarded to my law office account because that's the email that I'm on day in and day out, and I didn't want to miss anything, especially as the board chair. I've prepared a statement only because this is incredibly emotional for me. Over the course of my service on this board, I've always believed in respectful disagreement. It's not only appropriate, but it's necessary for our governance. But different perspectives make us stronger, and it makes us better as a board. Helps us to ensure the decisions we make are in the best interests of our students, staff, and community. However, there is an important, distinct line between professional disagreement and personal attack. Unfortunately, I recently received and learned that members or a member of this board has been providing or has provided almost 60 pages of my emails that I have sent as board chair on my law office email that I've written to members of the public for no other reason than to hurt me. And the way that this has come back to hurt me is those emails were attached to a formal complaint to the Wyoming State Bar Association. That's who regulates my law license. That very license that I have had for 22 years untouched. Never have I been disciplined, never had I had any problems or black marks on my law license. This law license is my livelihood. This is how I help take care of my family. Someone on this board has provided emails to this individual in the community, Bob Peterson, who grieved me over it for using my law email. Not one board member came to me and said, hey, this bothers me. Please don't do this. I know for a fact this board knows how to communicate with me when they have problems with how I'm doing things. I've received lots of emails. Not one person came to me and told me that this was a problem. The use of my emails, particularly those coming from fellow board members, has shifted away from constructive debate and towards personal criticism and attack. When board members attack one another or participate in these attacks personally, rather than engaging in thoughtful discussion about policy and decisions, it undermines the entire board and the integrity of this board. It erodes our trust, damages working relationships, and distracts us from the responsibility we were elected to carry out. When I was elected, it was well known I'm an attorney. It's part of who I am. It's not a secret. Not once have I ever used my influence as an attorney on this board. In fact, I suspect the legal bills have gone up since I've become the board chair because I am hypersensitive to not acting as this board's attorney. Healthy debate should focus on ideas, policies, and outcomes, not on questioning motives and character or personal integrity. When those types of attacks occur, it only harms not only those individuals, but the entire board and our credibility. The ends simply do not justify the means. Doing whatever it takes to get your way, no matter how vindictive and underhanded it is Just because some of you have made the decision to not take the high road and engage in this behavior does not mean I'm going to be doing anything differently. Personal vendettas do not benefit us as a board. They do not benefit the district or the kids. I am one vote. I do not make any decisions on this board alone. As I stated, my law license is my livelihood. It's how I take care of my kids and my family. Grieving me impacts my life and my way of living more than anybody could know. Moving forward, if a bar had to investigate this, I would have had to report it to my malpractice insurance. I would have had to report it every single time I renew my license. It's no joke. It's very serious. It's a huge insult to me personally. And I don't deserve this. And my family sure as hell doesn't deserve this. I'm not going to keep going on and on. But if you are so ashamed about your involvement in this effort to cause me harm, I don't know why you didn't just come to me. Quit lurking in the dark. Quit engaging in this behavior. It's not doing us any good. And those emails were given to Bob Peterson for no other reason other than to hurt me. No other reason. I remain committed to serving this district with professionalism and respect, even when we disagree. There's not one person on this board that's come to me and asked for something to be on the agenda when I haven't put it on the agenda, even if I disagreed, because that's my job as the board chair. I believe our community expects and deserves board members who engage in difficult conversations without resorting to personal attacks. I'm just asking that this board move forward and please stop engaging in this behavior. I will change my signature line in my email because I don't want anyone to feel intimidated by what I do professionally. But there's not one example that anyone can give to show that I have misused it. And, you know, it's not just this board that provided emails to Bob Peterson. It was Marie Hamilton or whatever her name is. It was Scott Smith, Shane Victron. I mean, none of those people are intimidated by me, by what I do. Okay, I don't act alone. That's it. I apologize to the audience too for having to sit through that. Future meetings, Salary Relations Committee will be meeting Wednesday, April 8th, starting at 8 a.m. There is some, oh, sorry, I missed that we're going to be doing a special board meeting for preliminary budget board work session and executive session on Tuesday, April 6th at 6 p.m. in advance of the salary relations on April 8th. Next regular school board meeting is Tuesday, April 14th at 6 p.m. and we're adjourned.